I had a call last week with a business owner who started to build his own AI business OS. He started to add the context about his business, he started to add his processes and his tools, but this OS could not actually execute tasks reliably for him. So today I want to explain why this specifically happens and more importantly, how you can fix that. Now, if you are not familiar with the term, an AI business OS is basically a workspace where you give an AI everything it needs to actually run different parts of your businesses for you. So this is exactly what I'm focusing here in this channel. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see how you can create one for yourself. Now, the problem on not reliable executions come down to how we've been trained to work with AI. So if you think, for example, on how you work with something like ChatGPT or Claude, what you generally do is you have a specific questions and you add some context to the chat and it gives you an answer back. So this is the way it actually works. And generally also, the more context you add, the more knowledge you try to cram here, the better the answer gets. Now, this is very different from an AI business OS because ChatGPT, Claude is just a tool that answers your questions. Meanwhile, an AI business OS is a system that actually executes on different areas of your business. So if you want, you can run the full delivery process, you can manage your client pipeline, you can handle your reporting, and it can do all of these different things, provided that it has the right context and then the right structure. The thing is that everyone is used to giving context to an AI, but not everyone is used to building a specific structure that the AI can operate with. Now, think about what happens when you onboard a new employee. You generally give them a specific task and show them how the task is executed. You give them the documents to explain what is the process, and they go on and execute on this task. Now, the thing is, with an employee, this structure is something that lives in their head. So they read the document, they internalize the process, they do the task, and then with time, they learn how to actually do the specific thing. Meanwhile, with an AI, with letting AI do something for you, the structure is not something that can live into anyone's head. It's something that you need to actually make visible. And so you need to put that information into files, into a specific format that the AI can reference and then can use to actually act on that specific information. And this is exactly what my client was actually missing. Now, to understand why structure matters so much, I think it's important to understand how these tools, such as Claude Code, work under the hood. So I don't want to explain that at a technical level. I want to give you like a very practical understanding of this. So when something like Claude Code or any AI agent harness starts a conversation, essentially it loads the information into layers. So every single layer has a specific purpose here. The first layer is identity. So in here, we have the system prompt, and it's something that is loaded every single time in every single conversation. And in this specific file, you can tell the AI what the system is about, what are the specific rules, what are some principles that it needs to follow, and things of that nature. In Claude Code specifically, this is called a Claude.md file, and you can think about this as a set of principles that are always true, and an AI employee or a set of AI employee for a specific area of your business needs to follow every single time. The second layer that is loaded is capabilities. This is where an AI agent learns what is able to do for you. So keep in mind that these specific capabilities are something that does not exist by default. It's something that you need to build within the system. But in here, what we have is not full instruction about how to perform a specific task, but something that just says that to the AI that they are able to do something. So, for example, if they have the capability to send the emails, they have some kind of description and reference that they can use a specific file, they can use a specific system to handle the email. Now, this specific layer is what my client was actually missing. So he had the identity one, he had context about his business, but the AI had no idea what it was capable of doing for him. He had no idea that it was capable of using project management tools. He was using other different like CRM tools, different processes. and different things like that. Now, the last layer that we have over here is the execution layer. So this is the full set of instructions that the AI needs in order to execute on a specific process. This is a detailed process on what are the tools that need to be used, in which way it needs to be used, and what are the steps to follow, or what is the process that it needs to follow. This is basically the SOP for the AI agent. And this layer is something that is only loaded on demand. So it's only loaded when the AI agent actually decides that it needs to do a specific action. So you ask for an action. All these identity and capabilities are always present. And if the system understands that you want to execute that specific action, then the execution layer is actually loaded. Now, capabilities and execution are stored on AI agent in something that is called a skill. And that works in a similar way to how a restaurant works. So in a restaurant, you have the menu, which is always on the table. You can see the dish, you can have a short description of the dish, and you don't want to read the full recipe on how a dish is actually prepared. Or maybe you are a weird one and you want to do that. But generally, you just scan the menu and you pick one of the dishes. Meanwhile, the recipe here, it's the full files are only important when you have ordered. Now the kitchen actually doesn't open the recipe for every single dish, it just opens the recipe for the dish that you actually order. And if you think about AI, it works in exactly the same way. So the system actually sees a menu. Within the menu, there are all the different capabilities, and then it only opens the full recipe when it needs to act on a specific one. Now, let me show you what it actually looks like in practice. So in Claude Code, every single skill lives in a specific folder. And the structure of the folder is very similar. It's always the same. So the first thing is the skill file itself. So this skill.md file, this is the most important file. At the top of this file, you have a brief description, and that is actually the menu. So you can think about this as use Asana to manage tasks via the Asana API, and that is actually the description. Under the description, you have the full instructions on what you can do with that specific skill. So you have a step-by-step process on what to do, what tool to use, what to check, what format to follow. This is essentially the recipe that we saw before. Next up, we have scripts. So the scripts are essentially programming file created by the AI that run on your computer that execute on the different operations. So for example, with Asana, they create a task, they update a task, they give you a list of the projects that you have available, and so on. And the last model here and the last folder structure is the modules. So in here, you can think about having different sub-processes based on different processes that you have within your business. So for example, if in Asana you manage something like a screening criteria, or you manage the billing through Asana, you want specific sub-processes within the modules so that you can say, when we are executing on those processes, check on those specific files. And so every single skill has this specific structure every single time. And this consistency is something that allows the AI to actually predict what it will find inside, and then will easily navigate what he has available at his disposal in order to execute on your operation. So in here, the skill is just general information about the skill itself. Meanwhile, it knows that if I want to execute on a task, if I want to create a task, run the create task.py, for example. Or if I want to run the process for billing, check billing rules. Now, if you're running an agency and want to build something similar to this, want to build your AI business OS reliably so that it actually executes for your team, you can check the second link in the description and I can help you with that. With that said, talk to you soon. Bye bye.